Good morning, Keller Williams, Maine. I'm going to very quickly show you how to use Command for your next transaction so that you can run it through compliance and get paid at closing. As you'll see, I am on the Opportunities section of Command. By this time, you should have already been able to log into Command, add a few contacts, and familiarize yourself with that section of Command. And also, you will have already had to have linked your DocuSign account to Command. If you haven't done that at this time, please stop this video, go link your DocuSign account. There's a training video on exactly how to do that, and then come back here. Assuming it's already linked, let's go ahead and proceed forward. We are in our opportunities. We have either a new buyer or a new seller that we intend to do business with. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to click on Create Opportunity up here in the top right corner. And then we're going to start filling in this information line by line. Most of it's fairly self-explanatory. The opportunity type is either a listing, a buyer, landlord, or tenant. So let's assume it's going to be a listing. Then we're going to put the client's name. This is why it's imperative that you have already added the contact, because if you haven't added the contact, nothing's going to come up and you can't proceed forward. So go ahead and just start typing in the name of the contact of which you intend to create this opportunity for. For today's purposes, I'm just going to use AAA seller. You're going to go ahead and continue moving down field by field. Opportunity name. For listings, I recommend using the actual address, of course. For a buyer, maybe just their first and last name, however you decide to organize your information. Then optional information down here, estimated close date, price, commission. You can either fill that out now or later. That is important information, however, to have included. So if you know this stuff, you might as well just fill it out right now. Then we're going to go ahead and create the opportunity. Now, as you'll see, this just redirected me into the specific opportunity. So up here, you'll see the different tabs, details, documents, offers, etc. So what you can do if this listing is already live on the MLS is actually select from KWLS and pull all that information right in. Otherwise, what you'll do is just simply go into each section here, general information and seller worksheet, and you'll edit those categories and fill in the information line by line. So you'll do that here, and then for the actual seller worksheet, you'll do that again here. As you'll see, this is commission, their mortgage, HOA fees, etc. All right, now we're getting into the really important stuff. How do I actually process paperwork through Command so that I can get signed and into compliance? And for all of that stuff, we're going to go right here into the documents. And the very first thing we're going to do is click on Start a Transaction. Now what this is going to do is Command, since it's already linked to your DocuSign account, is going to redirect us into a DocuSign room. And here we are. Now we're going to do a little bit more exploring of what all this stuff is, so just bear with me and follow along with where I'm at right now. The first thing we're going to do is click on this Add button and click on Zip Form. Now from here, if you've already created different files in your zip form, they're going to show up. Let's assume we haven't done that yet because this is a new buyer or a new seller. So what we're going to do is go ahead and create it. So this is technically creating a room in zip form. We don't really use this, so don't get too hung up on it. I'm just going to go ahead and call it AAA seller. And again, it's a listing and it's for a residential property. Go ahead and create that. Successfully created. Fantastic. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select this drop-down menu and we're going to click on Zip Form Library. And what that's going to do is pull up all the documents that are standardized that already exist within Zip Form, now exist in Zip Form in your DocuSign. So I know you may still be a little confused. That's all right. What we're going to do is click on the library here. And as you'll see, there's all these different categories, these different libraries with documents. So for a standard listing, what we're going to do is we're going to start scrolling down and looking for the documents that we typically use for a listing. So I'm going to scroll, reading through. And the first one we're going to look for is, we're getting there, exclusive right to sell, agreement, combo, boom, we want that document. We're going to continue scrolling down and see if there's anything else in here that we may want to use. Lead paint, we're going to want that, obviously, if it's older than 1978. We're going to continue scrolling down. Maybe we need the waiver of MLS benefits, if we know we're not going to get it listed in the next couple of days, next 5 days. Maine Real Estate Commission Brokerage Relationship Form, Form 3. So we're going to go ahead and grab all the documents we need for our standard listings and click on Add. Now what this is effectively doing is taking those documents that live within your zip form and it's pulling them into this DocuSign room. And now you'll see that they all just showed up. Now the really cool thing about that is as you click on each document, what you're going to see is that the fields, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it some more. The fields are actually editable right from here. So we no longer actually even need to go into zip form because we can edit each field right from where we are. So Keller Williams Realty, go ahead and put in the date, so on and so forth down through this entire agreement, and then we click on Save. Okay, we'll go ahead and X out of that document and hit Continue. Now we've effectively, let's assume that we filled out that entire document and we're going to go document by document and fill them out entirely just as you would in zip forms. Once you're done with that, you're going to select each document that you want to have signed. And as you'll see, I can select each document. I can do all of them, some of them, whatever the case is. And right up here, there's a DocuSign signature button. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. Now what we're doing, since the documents are filled out, is we're going to send them off to our clients to be signed. So the envelope name, you can rename that if you want, 123 Main Street or whatever the case is. And then you're going to select your recipients. From here, you're just going to type in, the easiest way to do it is just email. So let's just put in my name, Joe Q, and I'll put in my personal email address just so it doesn't get confused. And obviously, if there's a second, third, fourth recipient, you can go ahead and add those. From here, you're going to hit Next. Wait for it to load. Now, for those of you who have actually used DocuSign before, this room should look fairly familiar because this is what it looks like. So what you're going to do is scroll down the paper and add your initials as needed. Continue to scroll down, add your initials as needed. And then, of course, we have a signature line here, so we're going to add a signature. Boom, and we're done. If you need to add multiple people, there's a drop down right here where you can go in and select, okay, now that I've added husband, I can then go add wife signatures or co-seller signatures and do that all right from this platform. Then you click send, and now they're out to your clients by both sellers for signature as you fill them out. So what this is going to do is pop us right back into our room, and as you'll see, we're under the envelope section. So just a really quick overview of what this is. Let me move my head here for a second. The room itself is 123 Main Street. That's the folder, that's the listing. Within the room, you have details, documents, people, envelopes, and history. The primary ones we're going to use here are the actual documents where you're going to manage typing and filling out the documents. People, if you choose to add people here, like your buyer's name, your seller's name, you can do that. It's not required. And then the envelopes are how you actually send things out for signature. So as you see, I just sent out those few documents, and right now we're waiting for others. So we're going to wait for our clients to sign those documents. They're going to get an email that says, hey, please DocuSign this form from Joe, and then they're going to go ahead and sign the forms. Now let's back all the way back out, because at this point, like I said, we're waiting for them to sign. Let's assume we get an email update and it says, hey, our clients have gone ahead and signed those documents. They're good to go. Perfect. So what we're going to do is right now we're right back in our opportunity. As you'll see, again, we're in the document section. Now from here, what we're going to do is the form's already been signed. And if you remember, one of those forms was the real estate brokerage relationship form, Form 3. And so now what I want to do is add a file. So I'm going to click on Add File, and then I want to add it from DocuSign because that's what I use to have them filled out. Now from here, DocuSign already knows what's connected to this transaction, so you're going to see that it pulls up all those documents that I was just looking at. The exclusive right to sell, lead paint, MLS waiver, and Form 3. So the file I'm on right now is Form 3, so of course I'm going to select that document and hit Assign. What it's now doing is pulling that signed document from the DocuSign room and pulling it into your command transaction or your opportunity. This is going to allow you to submit it to the Market Center for compliance and eventually archive your entire transaction just like .loop does. So by now you should be starting to realize that not only is this command opportunities replacing .loop, it's also replacing the need to sign into zip forms. It's replacing the .loop itself, and this commission tabs up here, not to confuse you, but this commission tabs up here is actually going to replace the green sheets as well. So it's all been effectively integrated into one singular platform. Really, really cool. Now, something I didn't say earlier is just like .loop, your documents are organized by what phase of the transaction you're in. So you have listed, which is, of course, before you're listed and while you're listed, all the required documents that you need. As you see, some of these are, in fact, required, just like in .loop, and some of these are conditionally required, depending on if it's needed or not. Then, of course, once you go under contract, there are a handful of additional documents that you'll need to do, and then, of course, your close documents. And the process is going to work exactly the same for each of these. You're going to go line by line, add a file, pull it from DocuSign where you just had it selected. This is the, I don't even remember what document I clicked on, exclusive right to sell combo. So we'll come right here, exclusive right to sell combo, and assign. Now, let's say we went to the listing appointment and we had them do it with pen and paper. Great, that's still good to go. As you'll see, when you click on add a file, you have the option to manually upload it and drag and drop from your browser. So all you do is drag and drop right here any PDF document from your desktop, just like you used to be able to do in .loop, if you didn't get it actually signed in DocuSign. Now from here, if it's time to get some more documents signed or updated or whatever the case is, you go back to the transaction here. This is going back into the DocuSign room where I can add more files, edit more files, send more files out for signature, etc., and then come right back here, put them in the selective spots, and eventually submit to Market Center. That's all for this video. Please continue to watch these training videos. This is really neat stuff. I'm super excited about it. I hope you are too. We'll see you soon.